Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Degeneration Podcast episode. Whoa! Wait a second. The scuff. Echo. No. Already messed it up. Anyway, hello, everyone. Welcome to the
Eyes also
Degeneration Pods.
freaking out. Holy shit.
Wait. Hello, welcome to the Degeneration Podcast, episode 18, the podcast for the degenerate generation. Anyway, with me right now, we have my lovely co-host.
Lovely? Oh, that's so nice.
I swear to God. Introduce yourself yet again.
Hi,
Been a few weeks. It's been 2
friendly
weeks.
or not DLC, whatever you prefer.
When are you gonna stream?
Fuck you. That's when.
I swear to God, I'm gonna do your stream for you if you don't stream at this point.
Okay, guys, don't tell anyone, right? Don't tell no one. But this is totally what I planned all along. Cool.
Us to just remake the same joke of you trying to stream.
Yep. No.
It's just a running joke that you're a
making
streamer,
you
but you
do
don't actually
everything
stream.
for me.
I see. I see. Well, anyway, I do have a few announcements. I will be authorizing the debut rap because we finally got it done. It took a while because of a bunch of things with the guy that was mixing it. It had to do a lot with his PC just like completely shitting out on him. I think his SSD crashed completely. But yeah, no. So we finally got it done after 2 months. It's 2 months late, but it's gonna be released. It's gonna be on my old mic, so it's gonna be scuffed. So y'all be ready for that. And it's also the first rap I did, so it's also gonna be hella scuffed. Because I actually recorded that one before all in my head. So yeah, so it's gonna be scuffed. But it's gonna be great.
Oh, the monster.
Now that oh yeah, new announcement. I don't know if everyone on Twitter saw, but I have a new mic. Hopefully it sounds a lot better and a lot cleaner. Because when I was doing some recordings earlier, it sounded so clean. Like I was doing a karaoke cover of Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time by Panic at the Disco, and it sounded lovely. In my opinion. Anyway, so Finley, do you have any announcements before we begin?
It is very funny that I haven't started streaming yet.
Is that all you have to
Yep,
add
that
on to
is it.
All right, well, we'll get into introducing our guest for today's Scuffed podcast. Everybody, welcome Roar the Rapper, aka your boy Roar. Introduce yourself.
What's up? Hey, how we doing?
We're doing pretty well.
Does that sound good enough?
Yeah, it sounds
Okay.
pretty good.
I thought my voice squeaked there at the beginning.
It might have.
Hey.
I don't know.
Oh,
We're
what's
gonna
up,
pretend
guys?
like nothing happened.
Oh, jeez, Rick.
So, okay, now tell the class 3 things about yourself. Yeah, tell the class 3 things about yourself. Tell these degens 3 things about yourself, huh?
I guess I'll give just the simple answer. I guess I rap and I sing and I like anime.
All right.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've seen any of the previous episodes of the Degeneration podcast, but degeneracy is about to ensue.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
You ready? You ready? Are you ready?
I think so.
All right.
I guess we'll find out.
So,
I'd like to think
also
I'm ready.
does the put anything on my head redeem apply to Wobbuffets? I don't have a Wobbuffet to put on my head, so I can't. But so let me give a little bit backstory on this podcast episode. All right. So it first started with Roar doing a live stream, and in the live stream, I asked him through chat if he could review a song of mine, and so he did. He gave me some feedback on it. It was really good feedback. I actually agreed with basically everything he said.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But yeah. So after that, I asked him to come on the podcast, and it came from there. Funny thing enough, I told Finley that he was going to be on the podcast. I forgot to send him anything by Roar. So
Hi.
I know
Roar.
everything about Roar, and by
What's
everything
up,
I mean
man?
what I've seen.
Yep. Before the
Finally, I could
podcast
talk to
started-
you.
Yeah, before the podcast started, we talked for roughly 7 minutes, and that's about all of the context I have for him.
Mhm.
Guys, this is an exclusive thing here behind the scenes, but he wouldn't let us talk to each other. We were
Right?
trying to become friends, and he was like, shh.
Yes,
Exactly.
I chained them up in my basement
Like we're
and
we're
stopped
both,
them from talking.
we're both musicians, we're both singers, definitely, and I wanted to talk to him and talk about how much we had in common and like talk about our interests, and he literally locked us up in a basement.
They were all over each other.
He
I
kept
couldn't
us
stop,
in different
I could
rooms.
almost not
I could
stop them.
barely hear him, and then finally he let he uncuffed me and let
I'm
me
glad
out.
that we're in the
Yeah,
same room.
I had
Now
to.
I can
I
see.
almost had to take them to the
Yes,
monkey
yes.
farm. It was tragic.
Well,
But I don't understand why we're chained to a desk, though. Do you know why that is?
no, honestly.
Did he say anything about that?
No.
Do you think he hears us
just
right
kind of
now?
walked off after saying, "Okay, now time
Okay.
to do the podcast."
All right, I'm back.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay. Cool.
How you guys doing? Your cuffs a little.
Good,
Your cuffs. Your
good.
cuffs. Your cuffs loose enough. Loose enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, I see. God, this is painting a really bad picture.
No, I decided to take it there. I figured, why not?
We're going all the way. Very professional streamer. Yeah, very professional streamer. No, I had to keep trying to stop them from talking to each other. So I didn't actually chain them up, guys.
No. He didn't chain us anywhere. We're in our own respective homes. He did, however, prevent us
Yes.
from talking to each other.
Yes,
so
because I
know
wanted
nothing.
them to learn
Yeah,
about each
well-
other during the interview and stuff. So yeah.
Well, because one other thing that I might as well tell you guys, so long as we're in the introductory period, is I have ADHD, so it's super easy for me to just go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So
I
like,
know that
I
feeling.
would have-
Same.
yeah, so like if he didn't stop us, I would have totally like done the whole interview before we even started. So
And we
that would have been good for you
did a
guys.
Review of the interview.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
don't worry.
Yep.
I have
It'd
done
be
that
like a
before.
short compilation.
Yep.
Finley singing
Hmm.
compilation. When?
No.
You know what? Hey, a General Kenobi or Beneko.
Don't do
Anytime
that.
Finley ever sings, can you guys clip that
Don't
so I can
do
eventually make a Finley singing compilation? Thank you.
No.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Sounds awesome.
it.
Really appreciate this community. Anyway, so
Do you not think you're good at singing?
Oh no, I'm great at singing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
he just has a habit of randomly singing out of nowhere,
Oh, dude, I do that too.
like while we're doing other things.
Yeah.
Nice. No, dude,
It's-
I'll do that at work all the time. Sometimes it entertains the kids I work with. I'll just be sitting there and like if I'm trying to like focus on something, if I like sing a little tune to myself, I'll be like, "Oh, yeah," and then I remember the thing I want to do.
Oh my
Meanwhile,
God, you guys are the same person.
Kids and coworkers are looking at me like, "What?" Dude,
Yeah, no, exactly. I have never met someone else who understood that so well.
Guys,
but
it's the same
it-
person.
It's in the same vein.
Oh, that's too funny.
Well, so do you have any experience? Like, when did you start singing? What got you into it?
I actually have been singing for a lot longer than I've made any sort of music. In case some of you guys don't know, I started my YouTube channel in August 2017. I kind of wanted to just do like at the time I'd watched all these rappers like None Like Joshua and Rustage and Daddy Fat Snaps and all those guys,
Yes.
and I was like, I want to be there. Like I want to do that. And really long, complicated, emotional story short, I'm not there yet. I'm not on any ciphers yet. But
Okay, well, you
when I
did
kept-
you did mention that you worked with like what's her name? Savvy Huga, didn't you?
I hadn't I mean, not in any like nerdcore context. I believe she was a. I think she did some. Oh gosh, why can I not remember? I think we worked on a project where she did like some voice acting.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
But in terms of like being on like nerdcore ciphers or anything like that, haven't been there yet. But
yeah.
So while I was trying to figure that out and like do more like rap about anime and stuff, I realized I kind of wanted to just write music that wasn't about any of that. Like I just felt like I had ideas I wanted to convey that didn't have anything to do with an anime. So I did that, and then the more I did that, the more I was like, I kind of want to sing. And then I just, so like for me, I had years of experience with singing, but I never liked my voice. I never thought I was any good. Like even in college, I was in the choir and orchestra as a baritone. But all I could think of was, well, all these, you know, tenors, they can hit the really high notes. They're so cool, and I'm nothing.
Sorry.
What's up?
Tenor. I'm sorry.
Brewer.
I'm sorry.
You guys are literally the same person except one's a tenor.
Oh, you're oh my god. Okay, you know what? I'm jumping off this interview. I'm done.
All right.
I can't even handle you.
See you, man. Oh my god, you guys actually are the same person. You guys act the exact
too
same.
funny.
That's actually crazy.
Well, yeah. So I mean, it just took a while to be comfortable. But I mean, even when I was in like, gosh, I want to say like junior high, I think I was in a choir at school or something, and I don't know, like I just never thought I was that good at singing, even though looking back, pretty much everyone told me I had a good voice.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, no, I can't hit all those high notes like those other people can.
Yeah, no,
But-
that was always a point of contention with me. Like, I'd listen to like Seal or David Bowie or something, and be like, "What?
Mhm.
Why can't I do this? Am I just
Mhm.
not good enough? Do I
Yeah,
need to be better?" And at a certain
right.
point, you just realize it's not really you. It's just that those people just have high ranges. So you can
Right.
sing fantastically in your own range, so long as you know.
Exactly. Well, and see, that's the thing too. And like, we kind of talked about this before the podcast started, and then fortunately we cut it off. But I don't write any instrumentation for any of my music, and I'm very happy for that for two reasons. The first one being I've tried to write music for the longest time, and it just never sounded good. Like I always felt like I was missing something. Like even when I would buy like beat packs where you basically push everything together.
Okay.
And you know, you tweak little things here and there, but then you have a beat. I would do that and it still wouldn't sound good. So what I do now is there's so many people out there who make beats and instruments. They do instrumentals and all sorts of other things, and it's cool because then I can just pick and choose which one I like.
Right.
But then also it sort of naturally gives me an idea of like, oh, this is kind of the range I would have to sing in. So it's like I find beats that necessitate a lower voice.
Exactly.
So then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, right. But and see that's the funny thing too, is it's like looking back when I was so worried about, oh, I can't hit all these notes like all these other people can. I had no understanding that, you know, if you play the guitar, you can go a few chords lower or you can go a few octaves lower. I kept thinking like, oh, if I can't hit these notes like everyone else can, then I'm no good. It's like there were so many other options available. I just wasn't in any circles to really tell me that. So
yeah.
I meant to give you the long and the short of it, but I feel like the short turned into the long after a while there.
I got a request to put bread on my head.
And
That's what we're
mark
doing.
is complete.
Do you have bread?
I have bread.
And I have
I
I
put
complete.
just
it on
bought
my
some
head.
sourdough. Should I join you?
Sure. If you have stream pulled up, you can see
Okay,
the little
I'm
bread on my head.
sorry, guys. I don't actually have any bread, so I can't join the bread club.
Damn, kind of cringe.
Okay. do I need to get up and go downstairs and go get some bread?
Yeah, go
Like,
get bread,
Yeah,
man.
dude, come on.
Go
Dude, are
get
you
bread,
dedicated
man.
or not?
Yeah,
I get the
dude.
feeling you're not.
Fine,
Bread
I'm
disaster.
dedicated. I'm dedicated
Bread-
to the bit. It's fine. I'll go get bread. One sec.
I see General Kenobi in chat. Bread disaster. God, I have bread in my head
Oh
now.
my gosh.
There's bread. God. God. When it comes to voice, I was in choir, I think, for like 2 years, maybe in like elementary
Mhm.
school, and then I stopped.
Just wasn't fun, or you switched to band and orchestra.
I switched to band actually.
There it is.
I was a actually
Yeah.
very good French horn player. But
Yep.
Oh,
French horn,
nice.
Best
yeah.
instrument.
It is the best instrument in my opinion. I love it. It's beautiful. It looks cool.
That's cool.
Everything. But
Yeah.
It can also
I
have
don't know.
two entirely different types of sounds depending on the player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also
No, my dad
I don't know.
played trumpet for years, and he was in a few different orchestras and stuff. And I can't remember how he got in possession of it, but he ended up getting a French horn at one point, and it was, I mean, like at the time, that was like one of my earliest exposures to brass instruments.
Right.
So I was just sitting there,
Mhm.
just transfixed, because he was like, "Yeah, if you do this, it'll sound like this," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, it's so weird, right? Just
It's
depending
really
on
cool.
how you put your how you position it, and second,
Mhm.
like whether or not you position your hand inside, it just changes
Yeah.
the sound entirely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God, I love the French
Yeah.
horn. I just stopped playing it. Just because,
Mm.
like, I don't know. I just kind of fell off. I still have mine. It's a silver double horn.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you find, like, and this is speaking as someone who, I mean, I played the piano, the drums, I played the saxophone for a little bit, but I mean, literally, I only picked it up because I heard a cool little saxophone piece in a game I was playing and I wanted to learn it.
Oh,
And then after I
deadass?
learned it, I was like, well, there's no reason for this anymore. But
That's how I am with all instruments. I just find something I want to learn, get the instrument, learn
Mhm.
that, and then and that's it.
Nice. But yeah, so
Vibe
like,
Thief said,
so
"This
is
guy's
the-
voice, dude, I lost." Bro.
Walker, what the fuck?
Walker thinks you have a very attractive voice, Roar.
Oh, it's funny you say that, because for a number of years, people have told me that I should do voice acting or something involving the radio. And I always thought, there's no way my voice can be that good.
Why haven't you done voice acting, actually? I mean, you have a decent
same
mic.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like I mean, okay. So the short of it is, I never knew that was a thing until I was in college.
Mhm.
And then I did audition for a couple of voice acting things, and it just didn't go through. So then I kind of dropped my interest in it. But then now, since it's not, since you guys know what I'm pursuing with my YouTube channel and my music and stuff, I just feel like it's way outside my scope, first of all, and then I also feel bad about asking anyone for anything ever. So even if I had like 100,000 subscribers, if I came up to someone and said, "Hey, I kind of want to try voice acting," I'd feel like I'd be doing them a disservice because, for one, I don't have any sort of like projects under my belt.
You don't have a
I don't
portfolio.
have-
Lack of experience, and you don't want to
Yeah.
burden anyone with your lack of experience.
Exactly. And you got to start somewhere. But, I get it that a lot of places might not want to hire you if you don't have experience. But then that's kind of a cyclical thing, because it's like, well, if you won't hire me, how am I not going to get any experience?
Oh,
And then the
God.
cycle continues.
I can never
Cycle.
enter the workforce if you won't hire me.
Exactly.
God.
That's it. Yeah. That actually happened to me when I first, like with one of my first jobs I got a CNA license, which is just, like an orderly at a hospital. They do all the manual labor and stuff. And there was a
Okay.
place I applied to, and they were like, "Well, we can't hire you based on lack of experience." I'm like, well, this is never gonna happen if you don't hire me.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Anyway.
God.
Catch-22.
I mean,
Exactly.
I've been wanting to do voice acting stuff for years, but at this point, I feel like I'm so busy all the time with with
Hey, that's good.
streams and drawings and watching anime,
Yeah.
which I barely even do. Recording
same here.
music. I'm actually part of a voice acting a project right now, but
Oh, cool.
we haven't done anything because the guy is literally making the game ground up.
Don't
So-
worry. No.
Ooh.
Hold on. That's a reveal that we shouldn't be saying right now.
Well, you're not part of it. What are you talking about? Oh. I accidentally clicked on a voice channel in that Discord. I'm back.
Okay. I
But,
got worried for a
Rip.
second.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I got
okay, interview
I got-
over. Cool.
I got what's it called? Well, what's the contract?
Mic drop?
NDA'd. I got NDA'd.
Oh, NDA.
No, I'm not under an NDA or anything, so I can talk about as much as I want.
Nice.
But
I see.
Oh yeah,
Right.
to kind of focus on something you said earlier. If people look at my channel, you'll see a lot of nerdcore stuff and
Mhm.
rapping about different shows that were common at the time. But then there's a quick drop off, which is right around the time when I started doing quote original music, and that's kind of been from that point on, it's few and far between that I've written about any anime because I have even less time to sit down and watch it.
oh
And
yeah,
it just
And
Well, it
that's
hit me
that's
like a
what
ton
gives
of
you your
bricks the other
inspiration
day.
the first time.
Yeah.
First place.
Well,
Yeah.
it hit me the other day because someone I was following on Twitter would, I guess, tweet out their reviews on different shows that they were watching at the time.
oh yeah.
And I guess she finished a few episodes of the second season of Dr. Stone, and I was so shocked by that because I hadn't even finished season 1, and I had no idea how long ago it was when that came out.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
2, that there was even a second season, so it just kind of hit me man, I am so behind everything.
Yeah, and,
it's Dr. Stone is really good. I at this point it takes less time for me to read manga, and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
sitting down to watch an anime feels like a commitment every time. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
I read manga more than I watch anime these days.
Yeah,
Which is
totally.
weird. I never thought I'd get to that point.
God, what's it
Mhm.
called? When it comes to watching anime, my friend who went off to college, he came back, so we hung out. I think him and
Mhm.
him and my other friend harassed me for 15 minutes straight to watch Jujutsu Kaisen at some point.
Stop.
They're like-
you don't
they're
need
like,
to.
dude,
It's just
they're
good.
like, dude, you have to. I'm like, dude, I'm busy. They're like, busy with what? I'm like, everything, man.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of life going on that's not watching this show.
Yeah.
So I'll just ask both of you guys a question. Do you think Jujutsu Kaisen is god tier, or what is your opinion on it? Because I've heard a
never
lot of people.
seen Jujutsu Kaisen.
Mhm.
I've read the manga up until its
Okay.
most recent one. Well, I stopped reading it about 3 months ago, and then I just caught up, or 4-ish. And then I just caught up, so I'm now caught up with that, and
Okay.
it's good.
Mhm. I
That's
just
my
asked
opinion.
because I think the last show I just sat down and watched was Demon Slayer, which was
Okay.
fantastic.
Okay,
I
yeah.
loved it.
Without a doubt.
And
yeah.
then around the time Jujutsu Kaisen came out, I mean, I watched it and I was like, okay, I get it. This is really, really cool. And then I think someone like Jacksepticeye tweeted and he was like, this is one of the greatest shows of all time. It's going to be a classic. And I was like,
That's what
really?
everyone keeps saying.
I mean,
I don't.
I was
I
like, what?
get it.
I
But
haven't seen
I
this,
don't.
but wow.
No. It's that feeling. I get a feeling Like when I watch something
Mhm.
like The Melancholy of, what is it, Haruhi, I think,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
it's
or
Haruhi
fucking Demon
Suzumiya.
Slayer, or like Ray Zero or
Mhm.
something. Like I get that feeling of this is a classic, but I don't get that feeling with Jujutsu Kaisen. Like it's good, it's really good,
Oh yeah,
but
it's an
I don't feel
excellent
like
show.
it's, yeah, I don't feel like it's on the
It just
same
feels like
level
it's
as some other
another
stuff.
fighting
Yeah,
slash and I mean it even had points where I was like really emotional over some of the characters, like some of the
right. Yeah.
things that happened. I was like, oh my gosh, but it just didn't like, I don't know. But
Yeah.
see, and that's the funny thing too, right? Because like I watched 2 seasons of Attack on Titan when it was only the first 2 seasons that had come out, just because everyone was ranting and raving about, I guess it was the third season at the time. So I watched the whole thing to make sure I knew, what everyone was talking about. And
Hmm.
sort of what you were saying, Disaster, I think for me, I have to sit down and watch a chunk of a show. Like I can't watch one
Oh,
episode
yeah.
at a time, which is part of the reason why it's hard for me to invest. But um I didn't see the appeal of Attack on Titan either. Like,
Oh.
and don't get me wrong, it's good, and
Mhm.
I get why people like it, but it just never clicked with me.
Hmm.
It's just like, man, I don't know what it is, but
I don't know. I watched the first season and I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't like
Mhm.
this god tier masterpiece that everyone was saying though.
Yeah,
But like
I
honestly,
certainly.
it was really good. And um, one thing I've mentioned on stream, so I'll mention it now again. But when I was in the mental hospital, I had a roommate, and one night, back and forth, we did this to each other. But he
Mhm.
explained the entire plot of Attack on Titan, and I think it took an hour.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
oh my god, that series is a fucking
Yeah.
mess.
Yeah,
You should have.
it's like sitting someone down, right, and being like, "All right, here's all the lore of the Elder Scrolls."
And then I explained the
Like
entire lore.
it's insane.
And then I explained the entire lore of the Wandering Spirits, and
Yeah,
he was
no,
equally confused.
Oof.
no. The point is, yeah, it's like sitting someone down and explaining an entire, like, the fucking Star Wars universe or whatever. Like Attack
Mhm.
on Titan manages to imply and also actually tell, like through
Mhm.
dialogue and other means, especially in the manga or
Right.
whatever, um, an insane amount of detail and lore across everything, but
Mhm.
also it gets so convoluted to the point that it just takes like the amount of time of several episodes to explain the series.
Well,
God.
yeah, and I think the thing that bothered me immediately in the first season was like,
Hmm.
okay, we know that outside these walls there's an unknown amount of terror and like fear of the unknown. I'm a big fan of that.
God,
I mean, I
Subnautica,
loved
one of my
reading
favorite
stuff like,
games.
yeah, or like reading stuff by Lovecraft. I
Right,
love how
exactly.
he just,
Yes.
but the problem is since I never felt like they established how big of a threat it could be,
Hmm.
it made me really want to dissociate from the town, because every time there was an attack, I'm like, I have no reason to think that they're not all going to die today.
Yeah.
And then
The only
sometimes you
like.
would see like,
Mhm.
yeah, so I felt no connection to anybody, because it's like I have no reason to think you're not going to die right now, because we don't know what the extent of the enemy is, and it looks like your wall is pretty crap. Like every
Yeah.
time there's an attack, it's like, dude, you have nothing now. Like, what are you gonna do? And I don't know. I think I'm the type of person that like, if I feel like there's not gonna be um like, what is it? It's like I kind of need to know what's gonna happen before I commit to something. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like that fine line between the mystery of the unknown versus, should we even try if we don't know if how long it's gonna last? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm getting a little
it's like
philosophical
the
here.
reason why I like shonen anime. It's like, yeah, I know the good guy's gonna win, but I want to see how
Yeah.
he wins.
Exactly. And then you can throw a lot of wrench in the works, but we
Yeah.
know what's gonna happen. Yeah.
It's the beauty and simplicity. if you understand the story and the characters, it's the same thing with like Greek plays. If you understand the story and characters and all the parts that aren't a lot of parts, then you can like understand and enjoy the like simplistic things and the nuance in it. But like,
and
when it gets so complicated, it's hard to care.
Right. Yeah, I think that's really what it is. And actually, it's funny you mentioned that Disaster. First of all, is that a name I should call you by?
Yeah, go ahead.
Disaster.
Disaster
okay,
is
cool.
Is my name. That's my name.
Gotcha.
That's what everyone calls me. If you wanna be technical, you could call me Noel, but no one calls me Noel. So call me Disaster.
I literally call you that every day.
Or Diz. Either one works.
Okay. I'll just call you Disaster.
All right.
But yeah, like it's just funny you mentioned shonen because on the flip side, shows like My Hero Academia, I adore that show so much.
It's
not just
really
because
good.
of the conflict, but they do so much with the characters, and they make you care so much about everyone's personal struggles and their goals and their ambitions.
They don't have to like add sad dramatic music during certain moments because it's proper build up to every dramatic moment, and the characters are properly categorized without like having to go over the top to make you like them.
I mean, yeah,
they're just likable.
There are a few downsides to My Hero Academia though, but overall it is a good show.
Oh yeah. I can't remember who it was, but someone did a video that was like 5 things wrong with My Hero Academia, and I mean I'm not one of those people that's like, what are you talking about? Like I always go into stuff eyes open because I know nothing is above reproach. But I think one of the first things he pointed out was like
all the time.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. As a side note, I actually have a coworker, one of my coworkers who actually likes anime. She was saying that her husband is really into anime and wanted her to get into Naruto, and she not only like could understand it, she was like, oh, that's great, but then she was telling me, I guess Shippuden was a lot better.
Yes.
Like she's like, you don't even have to watch the original, you can just watch Naruto Shippuden. I was like, okay, thanks for letting me know.
I'm going on a whole fucking rant. All right, here we go. We're going on the Naruto rant.
I'm gonna go get some bread. I'll be right back.
Go get some bread. We're going on the Naruto rant. Let's go. All right. In my opinion, there are a lot of things wrong with Naruto, even though it is one of my favorite shows of all time. But Naruto, you only have to watch up to where they explain who Gar is and why he does what he does, then skip the rest of the series and go to Shippuden. Honestly, it's not.
Well, it's funny you say that because like during college, right? When I had some downtime, I thought, okay, I'll try and watch some of the big 3. I want to try it. I tried One Piece.
3, like One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach. Or is it One Piece, Naruto, and Hunter x Hunter? Because Hunter x Hunter's in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, that's probably right.
I have no idea. I think Bleach. I think it's Bleach. Or it's Dragon Ball.
I think it's Bleach just because. Oh, geez. Well, now you got me second guessing myself. I don't remember which one it was.
Okay, honestly, Dragon Ball was not good. I
thought
it
was like Bleach and One Piece and Naruto. But point being was, I tried One Piece. I got it. I was like, okay, I understand it. I see why it's so big and awesome. Like, it has a great story, but then it also has a really unique like power system and all these cool characters and all this other stuff. So I see why it's big.
Just so long.
And well, what I ended up doing with Bleach was watching from episode 1 to 50, and then episode 100, 150, 200, 250, and then like
so you just like jumped 50s.
Well, and I really don't think I missed much.
Oh my god.
I was like, you know what? I get it. I get the conflict. I get the different characters. I don't think I need to see every single thing.
Jesus.
But then of course, there were I don't know if it was just a thing YouTube did, or like someone did on YouTube, but I guess there were different movies, quote unquote, about different characters in the Bleach universe. So I watched all those. So I got like, big story chunks instead of
Okay.
just jumping to different episodes. But more the reason why I jumped in 50s was because I wanted to see where Ichigo ended up. Like I wanted to know, okay, what is his progression over time? I don't need to see his day to day for however long. Like I just want to know where it ends up.
Yeah, those
So.
those Shonen Jump animes really do that, don't they?
Yeah.
God.
I mean, I get it, and I get that it's a great accomplishment when you have something like One Piece, shoot, that's been around for God knows how long, and
it's
people love
literally
it.
on episode like 900 or something like that. It's
Oh, really?
so ridiculous.
Didn't they conclude the manga? Like, didn't they finally say,
No.
like, this could be the last chapter or something? No? Oh, no.
No.
So, we'll see, and looking at it that way, like, that's why I'm so not inspired to dive into those.
It's not
like,
even.
it'll
It's
take
not even ending
years.
anytime. It's not even ending anytime soon. Apparently.
Right.
Okay. The story that I was told, one person ever besides the main writer knows what the ending is.
Jeez.
And it was a Make-A-Wish kid who wanted to know.
No.
And
Oh
so
my
he
gosh.
took that secret to his grave, saying that it was beautiful.
Oh my god. Okay, that is beautiful.
But
that
I
situation,
don't,
but
I don't want
that
to
kid's
commit to
stupid.
that. I don't want to commit to that.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm back
oh
from
my
doing
gosh.
laundry and getting water.
You did laundry?
Yeah.
Dude, that was quick.
I see. Yeah, that was actually pretty quick.
Oh, are you done with the rant?
Speaking of which, I got it.
Yeah, no, I finished my rant a while back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you missed like 3 hours, man. Where'd you go?
I told you I did laundry. I also saw a movie. Did my homework. You know, all that.
Man, you did your taxes.
No, we
in this time?
just basically talked about the highs and lows of committing to an
Right.
already extensive show and why I'm not
okay.
at all motivated to do that.
Like Bleach, One Piece, and Naruto.
Yeah. No, I told Disaster that I with Bleach, I watched from episode 1 to 50 and then jumped in 50s all the way up to 300.
Oh God.
And then I also watched,
Is
you know,
it
like
really
plenty of
200?
compilations and like different like movies, I guess, quote unquote, about some of the different
Okay,
characters. So like I got an extensive thing. It's just the reason why I jumped in 50s was more because I wanted to see the conclusion of Ichigo's character. Like I didn't have the ambition to watch every single day of his life. I'm like, I want to know what happens to you, dude.
Yeah.
And-
No, for it's the same thing with like at a certain point, not only stories, but I guess campaigns as well. Often there needs to be a time skip, or there needs to be some sort of advancement of character, because realistically, not every single day of a person's life is going to be interesting or should be documented.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
we should see the highlights, we should see change in the character, but there should also be like significant changes.
Yeah. Well, I'll present you guys in an alternative reality where that would work, because I actually was just thinking about this the other day, like why I don't like certain series the way I do. My favorite show of all time is called Yuru Camp, if you guys saw that.
Yuru Camp?
No.
You know, it's also called Laid Back Camp, like that's the English version. But it has a couple seasons out, and I realized what it was.
It just looked very comfy.
And it absolutely is. But what I think is so great about it is how they establish the fact that it's about taking your time. And as someone, like I'd said, you know, as someone who has ADHD, it's really hard for me to just mentally relax. And I'll try not to get emotional, but geez, that show just like takes it out of me, like from the music to just talking about it. Like it's so moving, because I mean, like even in the first couple episodes, you'll see scenic shots and you'll see characters like walking down the street and they're like in the corner of a wide shot And it's just all these little details to let you know, like, hey, this whole show is taking its time.
This art,
Right.
There's
the
nothing
art
quick
for the
about
show
this.
looks insane.
Right. Yeah.
So
No.
let's just like.
A show can be slow and methodical, and that's
But I feel like
totally
when
good,
a lot
but
of
it needs to do it right.
yeah,
It needs to still
yeah,
draw your
and
attention.
right, and I think what is kind of distressing about a lot of action shows and stuff is when they do try to play downtime,
No.
it seems so unnatural.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
Like in
and
Naruto.
I mean, I get it. Like that's. Mhm.
They're just
Like,
not good
yeah,
at it.
Like in
That's
Naruto.
it.
I can't tell you what happened in episode 70 to 220. I can't tell you anything that happened during that time.
Mhm. That is too funny.
Just because it
But yeah,
doesn't
like-
matter.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other shows that did this. Like, I want to say Jujutsu Kaisen tried doing some downtime, and
They did.
I just didn't care. Yeah, I
Didn't
think
hydrate.
that's
Thank
what
you
it
for the
was because I
hydrate,
I shut it out of my head. I was
Yeah.
like,
No.
dude, let's just get back to
They
a fight
did
here.
a
Like,
certain amount of downtime. It was
mhm.
it was just like shorts. Like I'm not sure about the anime, but the manga had like 1 or 2 chapters, maybe even 5,
Oh,
dedicated
gotcha.
to just like casual stuff.
Hmm. Well, and I think like, I mean, it's great. Like, as someone who I mean, I wrote fan fiction when I was younger because I like loved the idea of taking characters and like giving them more like downtime and like fleshed out like what are they doing when they're not adventuring or whatever.
Mhm.
Like I remember doing that for Star Fox. Like when the game Adventures was over, I wanted to know like, okay, what's their downtime? Like, this is the first time we really see them in the Great Fox or whatever. Like, I want to know, what do they do in their downtime? Like, that's just
Great.
how my head worked.
No, that's great to think. That's great for an author to do because it lets you fully flesh out your character and make them more human, so you can know
Yeah.
how they're gonna react. Certain
It's
stuff.
just at the same time though, when a show like just establishes here's the action they're going through
Mhm.
and all that. I guess
It's
that's part
total
of
whiplash.
Mhm. Well, by the same token, if you ever read Now I'm a Spider, So What?
Yeah.
There's a new isekai that I love the manga because it
Sounds
just
so
focuses.
dumb.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
dude, it is
so
so
far-
good.
No.
No,
I
the
don't.
spider's
I don't
so
understand.
I, he
as
looks
someone who
dumb
hates the whole
too.
isekai
What?
genre,
I haven't.
I thought this was so good.
God.
Mhm. I haven't read it. Like I've read the manga.
Mhm.
I haven't read the
Yeah.
visual novel,
Fuck.
and I watched some of
Mhm.
the anime, and I'm like, who the fuck are these characters? What? What's
Do you
happening?
mean
Why are we
do
just
you mean-
switching over to?
that is exactly my point? That is exactly what I was going to say.
And then the
because
manga,
in the manga,
Yeah, it
it just focuses on the
interesting
spider.
shit. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's the
Oh
only
my
thing
gosh,
that matters
dude.
now.
I
And
got so
it's
pissed off
so
when I
much
was watching
better.
the show because I was like, I don't care about all these other characters. I don't care about how someone died and got reincarnated and how apparently there's this whole world of reincarnated people that are at some magical school. I don't care
Yeah, I don't.
because they made you, they established such a tone with this little spider. And the funny thing, Disaster, because I hear your snarkiness from here, but the the whole.
No,
Well,
like
the whole
I have
tone they
nose
had with it.
problems, but yeah, go ahead, go off.
Yeah, no. I'm just teasing you on that. But they just had this shift of, okay, this is a character who is trying to learn about the world around her, sort of like that time I reincarnated as a slime. At least for the first part, I kind of had mixed feelings about the show.
That is
But,
what
like-
it feels like in the first part.
Yeah, so it has a lot of hilarious moments where she's like, okay, I've played games before. Let's see, maybe I could touch this wall and figure out, if it's a like something cavern or whatever, so I could at least figure out where I am.
Apparition,
but-
yeah. Or
Yeah, but
appraisal.
her appraisal skill is so low, it just says wall, and she's like, okay, really, like. Maybe this rock, maybe I'll figure, or no, like I think it was an egg or something. She's like, maybe this egg will tell me like what kind of egg, and it goes egg. She's like, are
And
you
she does it
kidding
on
me?
herself, and it's just spider.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Like,
So-
it doesn't help her at all, and she needs to level it up and get better at the actual world around her instead of making assumptions.
So, yeah, so it gives you this really slow, methodical journey of hers where she has to mentally get into, this new world that she's in and have to fight all sorts of crazy things. You talk about them establishing the enemy and establishing the unknown. They do it straight out the gate. They let you know there are big bad creatures out here. But she just has to either run away or try and survey what's going on and being like, okay, I'm going to stay away from this guy and then go over
It's
here.
instantly her mother, like her own mother, that is the biggest threat to her. The
Oh
moment
yeah,
that she
that's
finds
right.
out.
I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, her
but yeah,
mother
so-
just starts eating the children in front of her, and she
Mhm.
literally runs away from like this big boss spider.
Right.
Like, it's great.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's such a good.
So they establish that, and they kind of tell you like, oh, she randomly died in class or something, and she like has some memory of it, but in the manga they don't really talk about it. But in the anime, they dedicate whole episodes to show you some alternate world with characters that I don't care about.
Yeah.
And then they try to like slowly show you like, oh, this person was a friend of this girl's,
Wow, that's
and
so
he's
cool.
wondering what
Why
happened to
should I
her.
care?
I know. I'm like, but you're nobody.
Yeah, no, like
For all I know, you did something to her that made her die. Like you could be the bad guys here. Like, I don't know.
yeah, no, that sort of thing only works in like when it's done really well. Like, have you seen Danganronpa season 3?
I have not.
Okay.
I do have to get into it. That's just another one of those shows where I'm like, it's been around for a while, and I got to put a lot of time into it if I'm gonna do it right. That's
Right.
just me with my own standard
Yeah.
of like, yeah.
I think it's one of the only good prequels, like really good prequels in anime. Like,
Okay.
Danganronpa season 3 is split into 2 parts.
Mhm.
One is the past before anything happened, and one is the very future after every game. So,
Oh.
right,
Give
but
me
the
a sec, I
prequel
need to
part
fix
is
my,
legitimately
I
interesting
need to
because
fix my
we already
model.
know where it's going. It's like a Greek play, as I said earlier. Like, the
Mhm.
people already know like what's happening, where this is all going,
that's
how the characters are. We just don't know what the fuck happened, and so it's legitimately
Mm.
interesting seeing everything unfold, and you actually care
Mhm.
about the characters because like even though they're dead and or alive, it's interesting to see like how they were all manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since
was
it gives
the,
us new information too.
There was a game that I was just watching. This guy, what's his
There we go. I
name?
fixed my model.
He does really really cool like game analysis stuff.
Mhm.
F9, I want to say his name is. But he did this really deep analysis on the Corpse Party games, and
Oh
I would have
my
never
God.
Right. Corpse Party.
like I.
God damn.
Corpse Party.
Mm-hmm. Like I wouldn't have been into it really because of how extensive it was, unless I watched like his analysis on stuff, and immediately it made me like just want to know like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And they did that with some of the games too. Like they really kind of established a I can't remember which one it was, but they did have a game dedicated to a lot of the different characters, like what happened before they were put in the the school that they were in, and that was really cool. I really liked that.
Yeah. Yeah, especially considering the fucking genre of Corpse Party. Holy shit.
Yeah. Jeez.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and it also, and I think I told him in a comment, I was like, dude, I saved myself so much trouble just listening to you talk about the highs and lows of it instead of wading through it myself.
Oh God. God. How easy is it even to play Corpse Party? Now that we're on the topic of games,
It's
Yeah.
not
Or-
too difficult.
is it on
I don't
Steam?
It's not hard. I think there's some
it is
that
on
have
Steam.
yeah, it is on Steam.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think
Majority
there
of
are
them
some
are on
games that have like weird mechanics or like some of the controls are broken, but
Oh
other
yeah.
than that,
no,
it's like
What he's referencing is there are certain games, one game in particular that he's currently trying to play that he has to translate himself after pirating because the original version
Oh,
is impossible to actually buy and play. Like it's
oh,
Wait,
I
are you
see.
talking about me?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Actually,
Yeah, you're the
I
third
can
person
go on
here,
a
man.
I can go on a whole rant about RPG Maker games and the creators of games not actually making their games easy to get. So,
Yeah, I've heard a bit about that.
oh, did you see it on my Twitter? Me complaining about it on Twitter?
I think I did, but even like I had some friends in college that were really into different games like that, and they always had something to say about like
Mhm.
I guess however they handle the accessibility of certain games
Yeah.
overseas versus like the Western market and all that stuff, and it's just like no one does anyone any favors, from my understanding.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
since this is a Degeneration podcast, and since I know a few of the things, I can extrapolate. What is that? Would that be the right word? I can extrapolate what you know about certain genres of things based on certain opinions I've seen you have in certain of your reactions. Based on one piece of evidence. Hypothesize. There we
Okay.
go. Based on one piece of evidence, that you know everything or all about and your opinion on Metamorphosis that we've talked about because of the reaction to Addict. But
yes.
So I'm assuming you know a little bit about Off-Brand.
Sorry, say that again. Your mic cut out.
I'm guessing you know a little bit about Off-Brand. Like off-brand as in hentai or whatever. But so there's a game series called Monster Girl Quest. All right,
we're getting into
you can assume what that is. But there's an RPG Maker version called Monster Girl Quest Paradox that goes through a different version of the story. And it's an RPG Maker game. It's an RPG. And getting this game, I found it easier to pirate this game and then get a pirated version that was already translated than to buy the game myself and translate it from the actual site. Because that game has to be bought through DL site, and I bought it from DL site, and it didn't work at all. You have to download it in separate parts, first off. Then you have to combine those parts, and if you don't have a Japanese locale, it doesn't work anyway. The entire... You can download it in one part by going through the application. The application is entirely in Japanese, no English version.
So fun.
Also, the person who made that game, the group, Toru Resistance, did not translate their game, even though there are people online willing to translate it for them. Because on the wiki, they have a full translation that they translated the whole game, both parts. And holy shit, I have not played the game since I've gone through this struggle. Because the whole struggle started when I found out the game that I was playing wasn't fully translated. And I couldn't do anything about it.
Oh no.
There's my rant. Rant about Monster Girl Quest Paradox over.
Oh, cool. That's only like 2/3 of the original rant length.
Yeah, I've shortened it since then.
Yep.
God.
So it's just to make sure I'm understanding this. It's just frustrating for you guys because there's the resources there to get it translated and everything, but the company's not willing for that to happen. So you're like, well,
yeah, the group is
we
not willing for that to happen.
It.
Also,
That's just so weird to me, man.
DL site is just so confusing. Just how they have to do things.
Yeah, that's weird to me because like with games in general, I've heard a lot of people talk about, in some cases, the value of pirating stuff, especially when you get companies that don't really seem to care about like the enjoyment of the fans who like the game, and they're like,
Yeah.
well, and I guess
Or
especially
making it
now with like,
available.
It's
yeah,
like if
so
you want the
it doesn't
game,
make any
if you
sense
want
to me.
people to buy your game, make it easy to buy. It's like with
Right.
you know the whole like all of the new applications that are coming out with every like company making their own app for something like Disney Plus. I think there's a
Mhm.
Paramount one now. There's
Mm.
all of these channels and like companies and stuff are moving to their own apps instead of all
Right,
using
yeah.
one app. And
Mhm.
it's at the point where I don't even want to get any of them because I'd rather just pirate it because it's easier.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is so weird because, like, I mean, it makes me think about, you know, to go back to me being a aspiring artist. You get a lot of people that like they really pride themselves in doing everything themselves. You know, you market everything yourself. You don't want a
Singer-songwriter.
label. Yeah.
Whole thing,
Wait, what
yeah.
is it called?
Singer-songwriter.
Oh yeah.
It's the whole idea that I should be the person who's not only most important in production, but also the creation of the song itself.
Yeah. I have a big problem
Yeah.
with that a lot.
But then on the flip side, you get, I mean, no one is going to be that impressed with you if you don't even know how to market something. So, like, sure, you can post your stuff on YouTube and just let it sit there. But if you're not going to, you know, tell your fans about it, you're not going to tweet about it, you're not going to promote it on other sites or something, yeah, it'd be cool if you became famous without having to use all these other tools. But you kind of look stupid at the same time. So my whole point was like, it just seems weird that these game companies, which have ginormous resources and they have the funding, they have all these other things, that they just want to, you know, keep something behind, you know, they just want to stuff something in their pockets and be like, no, you can't have it. It's like, well, then what do you want us to do? You'll get more money.
Yeah.
Like, if you let us play this.
It's like,
Yeah.
Isn't that your
I
end
just
game?
wish it was easier. like
Mm-hmm.
like with
I wish it was easier for us to give you money. Why the fuck are you making it so hard?
why is it hard for me to give you
Mhm.
money? Yeah, like that. Exactly. And it's like, you know how much more money you would make if this was available to more countries?
Right?
Mhm.
Why do you only have one language?
Right.
I don't know. And that was like the whole thing with. Actually, I can use a perfect example of a company who went English and it benefited them hugely. Hololive. Before Hololive, their highest like subscribed channel was like, I think 750K, and that was like Picora or
Really?
Coco. It was Picora or Coco.
Oh, no way.
And then you have Gura, who gets in the game,
Several million.
immediately skyrockets to 1,000,000 subs. And
Yep.
now she
Yeah.
has like 2.5K or something, or 2.5 million or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
Gura
Like,
is just
And
kind
then
of
you
the
get
little
so much
gremlin
more
that everyone
exposure
likes.
to everyone else in there. And then they had Hololive
Exactly.
Indonesia, which are great, by the
Right.
way. And then
They do these
spread it
collaborations.
further.
They work with each other. They're I mean, shoot, like, even though it's more funny than anything, I love how girls like Ollie are constantly tweeting like to the English speaking guy, like
Yeah.
Kiara. They just got this crazy relationship going on. It's so cool because that just puts more people in front of their content, which
And that's
it's like,
another
why
thing.
wouldn't you want to do that?
Is why I'm confused. Why Hololive, like Cover, let's say Cover because that's more relevant. Cover has done all of this stuff with Hololive,
Mm-hmm.
but they seem to see that their Holostars is smaller, but they don't make a Holostars EN or a Holostars ID that I know of.
That is
Why?
interesting.
They can
I do feel
easily
bad
grow.
for a lot of those guys too, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, I think I just ended up finding out about all these other different like Holostar and you know, different people like that. And then I found a few guys, especially like male streamers, that I'm like, dude, you seem like a really cool guy, but you haven't gotten that much support, man. That sucks.
Oh my
But
god. I see that
Like my
all
heart
the
just goes out to
time.
people like that. Especially since you're part of an industry that should give you more pull. I mean, I get it if you're trying it on your own, and I get it that, female streamers are always going to be way more popular than guys. I get that.
Oh yeah, because
Um,
the viewership is mostly male,
Exactly. It's just sad to
or
me
at
when
least
it's like,
higher.
oh, I
but-
can tell you're doing your best to try and like be creative and be entertaining, but for whatever reason, you're just not getting the pull.
Oh my god,
It's
there
sad.
was this post by Alejandro Hobb, I think his name is.
Mhm.
Kagi on YouTube. He does reactions.
Oh, okay.
He's a voice actor. Kagi VA.
Oh, cool.
He made a post saying, "Wow, Takahata." I think it was a joke. I think it was supposed to be a joke, but everyone took it very literally. He's
Oh, no.
Takahata 101's the only male VTuber, and
Whoa.
holy
no.
shit, you had male VTubers flooding by the thousands to
Mhm.
to get their name out there. And then you even
Yeah,
had
yeah, yeah.
Nux, who has done work with Kagi,
So good, yeah.
who is now a VTuber, and he
Yeah.
made a joke. He actually had Kagi on a video to show him
Mhm.
clips of bad voice acting, like
Mhm.
making fun of bad voice acting, but they were all
Mhm.
voice acting that he had done for official dubs. So he was making
Oh.
fun of it, and the
You
whole
guys there?
joke was that
Yep.
like, wait, what
Okay.
happened?
Noel just died.
Oh, what?
Oh no,
Did I die?
I don't know much about
Can
him.
you guys
but
hear me?
I guess you'll say some words then.
Wait, what? You guys not hear me?
Well, he was really such a good person.
What the?
He was always fun to hang out with, really. And
Man.
I very much enjoyed his company. We haven't met too much often.
All right,
We're on
see
the
you, General
opposite ends
Kenobi.
of the United States, but
Oh man.
yeah,
Oh wait, I don't know where the joke came in.
what a shame.
Hmm.
He was so young. He was
So much
young.
promise.
Not really.
Oh, he's back.
What?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
was that a joke or what? What happened?
Oh no,
What?
you died. Like straight
What?
up. We
Yeah, I just
For that
you
entire
cut off
duration.
mid-sentence.
You were like
What?
talking, or you were talking about like flooded by the thousands, and then you were in the mid sentence afterwards, and then literally just silence.
On
Yeah,
my side,
You were talking
my
about
side-
Nux.
on my side, it was perfectly fine, and on chat could hear me. What happened? Discord? You good?
Discord.
Uh,
And the weirdest
Discord.
thing was that like we were
I
fine.
thought you guys were memeing. I thought you
No, no,
guys
no,
were
no.
memeing on
I
me.
thought-
we couldn't
Wait.
fucking hear you.
Okay.
Wait.
As I was
The
saying,
fact you were the only one I couldn't hear. Was it?
that was
Yeah.
weird.
Anyway.
As I was saying, Nux had him on a video showing him like funny videos of bad voice acting
Oh no.
because Nux is also a VTuber.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
it was actually work that Kagi had done for official dubs,
No.
and he was showing him those, like
That's
making
Oh my
like
gosh.
making a joke out of it,
It's
and
so
they were
Oh,
having
sad.
a great
no.
time. But like it was hilarious.
That's why
Because
you gotta be
Kagi has done-
careful who you start BSing. Like,
Kagi
By
has
the
done
way-
joke like voices for like he actually did one voice for JoJo. He did a voice for
mhm.
One Piece. He did a few dubs in there.
hmm
But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. Did
Go
you
ahead.
hydrate earlier?
I did hydrate.
Okay.
I chugged
I
like
was
half
wondering
this
whether or
water
not I
bottle.
should check it off.
'Cause I was
Alright,
thirsty. You don't need to check them off. I can see them.
I do. Because you don't.
I don't use the stream
Now that
manager.
you say that, I'm gonna drink too.
Now
Alright.
that you say that, I'm also going to drink.
We have
What's your
store
guys'
brand
beverage of choice?
store brand purified water.
Well,
Oh.
my beverage of choice, if I can have it, is normally just like espresso.
Right now.
But I don't
Then
have
what
an
are you
espresso
drinking
machine at
right
my
now?
house. I'm just a
Oh,
Starbucks
gotcha.
barista. So, yeah, water.
Water.
That's cool. Man, I did really well, like, drinking water for a while. Like I had a problem with energy drinks and all that stuff.
Right.
And I didn't even think about the fact, because like I figured it was just a product of my ADHD or whatever, but like I would never truly feel focused. Like as much as stuff is supposed to, help you focus, when you
Right.
look at Monster, it like has so much more caffeine than your body actually needs.
Yeah,
Um,
because it's literally just jump
which is why
starting
a
your
lot
heart.
of people.
Yeah.
Well, then,
you're
but
not
then
going
it
to die by
exhausts
caffeine.
you.
Yeah,
It's just
because your
gonna-
heart is pumping so fast that it's literally just
Right.
using all the energy that you've just got.
Mhm.
Because your body's not
Yeah.
able to use the energy. So that's why you crash, because your body
Right.
uses so much energy so quickly that it actually
Right.
just
the
overheats
best
itself.
the best way to just describe caffeine in a simple manner is it makes you think you have more energy than you have for a short while.
Yeah.
Mhm. Right. Well, and that's kind of some of the dangers out there with alcohol and stuff. Like I remember reading about the whole like in the olden days when someone was like out in the woods or whatever, and it's like it's snowing and stuff, and they have those big Saint Bernards with like a barrel around their collar, which was a
Right.
barrel of like whiskey or something.
Mhm.
They would give that to the person to kind of warm them up and everything, because it completely takes your mind off how cold you are, but your body is still freezing.
Yeah.
So it's that whole dichotomy of like you got to get them out of that environment or they'll still die. But
It's numbing it. It's not making it
Mhm.
warm. But it feels
right, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
So I guess neither of you guys drink then.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
I've said before on streams that I've tried alcohol, even though I'm not 21. I've tried alcohol. I don't like it. So.
Oh, I didn't even think to ask
Yeah.
that. I could very well be the oldest in this
You are.
call.
Oh no, you definitely are.
Probably.
Oh jeez. No.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm sorry.
I
I'm
actually I was about
19.
to
Nice to meet you.
mention how old you are, but I'll let
Oh
you
my
do
gosh,
that because
no.
I know how old you are, I think, but you can
I
mention
just
that
had
if you
my
want
30th birthday on Sunday, so
to. And good on you.
eh,
You're still pursuing.
depending on who you talk to, yes.
What reaction was that you were mentioning, like how old you were and how society devalues us as we get older?
Oh well, just the whole
I
like
forgot what it was a demon
like,
dice reaction. I don't know which one I remember that.
Oh yeah, well, it's just the whole thing. Like when you're a kid, right? You never think you're gonna get older,
Yeah.
and in a dumb kid brain, even when someone's 18, you're like, okay, well maybe when they're 18, because you realize there's like the accomplishments of, oh, you can drive, or if depending on where you live, some people at 18 they can drink, and you're like, oh, you can accomplish all these things. You're an adult. That's so cool. But then there's always a point where in your dumb kid brain you're like, oh, you're so old. And then like even going through school, I would look at my teachers. I mean, I didn't do it because I was a good kid, but like there'd be people that they're like, well, you're so old, you don't know what you're talking about. And you get some adults out there that the only way they know to address how the world is changing is saying, well, back in my day, things were better.
Mhm.
And to
God, I
like
love
to
that back
realize
in my
that
day.
I hate that.
well,
The
it's
whole
so stupid
back
because
in
there's
my day. I hate
there's
it when they
literally-
downplay things that
Yeah.
you're like when they downplay the present. I hate it, but when it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, I can tell you about this thing that happened when I was your
Right.
age, like that's cool.
Well, it's so funny to me because, like, in an intellectual context, it's a really stupid thing to say because there's nothing new under the sun, right? Like, if I were to tell my folks like, oh, today I'm doing an interview on a Discord call, they'd be like, well, do you know these people? No. They'd be like, well, why are you doing it? I'm like, well, the same reason why you guys had like random pen pals in your life, or you'd like,
It's fun.
maybe, yeah, you'd get to know someone from a distance, and it's just different means to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
just funny to me when people will be like, oh, you kids are just always on your phone every day. I'm like, well, it's the same thing with you watching TV or like listening to the radio or like.
And honestly,
there's
we're
always
probably
been
getting
ways.
more done, to be honest.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, we're actually connecting with other people by
Yeah.
doing this. So
Like this whole thing is
So, I
content
mean-
creation. This is what I do.
The person who is currently on the call, not just you, Noel, I have seen in person once.
Yeah.
Mm.
I live in Texas, and he lives in Chicago.
Oh, how's the weather out there?
God,
Where in
it's
Texas?
great. Just kidding. 1 second. I'm gonna go
Texas.
outside. Look outside.
What
Current-
region are you from?
Mhm.
I'm not gonna ask exactly where you're
kinda
from because that's
rainy, kinda
personal. But
rainy.
what region are you from, Roar?
Oh, I live in California.
Oh yeah, you did
I
say
won't
you
say
live in
where 'cause
California.
it's a very
Okay.
big state, but
Oh yeah.
but yeah,
Max,
I
you had
lived
dogs
more
or
up
something.
north. I lived more in Northern California a few years ago, but I've moved since then.
All right, boys.
But yeah,
Northern
like-
California, that only leaves 3 directions.
Directions.
We're good.
Y'all
get 'em.
can
I could be
pinpoint
on
my
the very
city.
edge of California. You don't know.
Y'all can pinpoint my city.
I could step
You
out
just
my
don't.
house and be in.
You
Yeah.
don't want to come here.
No, dude, did you guys ever like have a time where you got worried about that? Like when you became more aware of the internet and stuff that like
Hell no.
there's so many ways where you can like accidentally drop your location or like even on
Oh, yeah.
Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Like I've noticed that when I was on Instagram or like when I would use my phone to post a video,
Mhm.
I fortunately have like a VPN on all my devices and everything
Oh,
just
yeah.
for safety and like if I want to use public Wi-Fi or whatever. But sometimes it would pop up like, "Hey, do you want to put this location on your video?" I'm like, why
It's
would
like,
I do that?
No, I don't want
In
to
no
do that.
context would this be helpful.
Just to let everyone know that I really am at this place, that I am vlogging.
The thing about it is that it got better as I grew up because now I kind of want people to know where I'm from because
Mhm.
it feels cool being from the Midwest because you have a lot of big creators that have been from the Midwest.
No, he's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
weird. He's just weird.
I'm just
You're
weird. I mean, you're right, but still.
Well,
Like,
that too. Yeah, I mean, that just goes without saying. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
But,
have like, especially rappers, especially me getting
Mhm.
into rap. Like you have
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of big rappers coming from the Midwest. Like especially one of my favorites, Tech Nine.
oh yeah,
Like,
dude,
obviously.
freaking Tech Nine.
God.
Oh, he's so good. It's just funny you say that, right? Because when I heard like, there's this guy on YouTube. Like, I don't think we relate really at all on the concept of like what makes good music and stuff. But I do like just his videos in general because he's really knowledgeable on like SoundCloud rap and like looking at trends with like who's gonna blow up and stuff.
Mhm.
So his name's Patrick CC, 2 C's. And he's done many videos where he's like, oh, who's the biggest artist to come out of the Midwest or come out of this state? He actually did a video with a group of his friends where he did a blind dart throw at a US map.
Oh yeah.
And then they tried to look at that exact city and see if there were any rappers in that area at all. And it was just cool because it made me think like, I don't really think like I did know a couple artists in the town I used to live in that have kind of been making a name for themselves, and that's kind of cool. But at the same time, it's like I've never heard of any huge names come out of Northern California, or at least more specifically like the region I was in. Because some people will like rep their hometown, right? Like, oh
Right.
yeah, I'm from the 215, and it's like, okay.
Sure, bud. I
I
feel like a
yeah.
lot of artists make their name and then they move to California.
Oh
I feel
my
like that's a
gosh,
more
that
common thing.
is way too probable. I think that would make a lot of sense.
Because you always hear of like artists or like YouTubers like making themselves and then bam, I'm in California now because I want to
Yeah.
collab with all these people.
I'm moving to
And-
LA.
except
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Michael Reeves.
Michael Reeves.
He blew up
Markiplier
and
did that.
immediately left and joined offline, which I think is in California.
Oh yeah, well he joined the group and
Oh.
everything, but like Markiplier, he moved down to California to collab with a bunch of people, and then he didn't.
Yep.
Oh, that's true,
just-
didn't he?
God.
Honestly,
Yeah.
just a bunch of people like live in California because everyone else is close.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, there's so many people that come to LA because they're hoping that, you know, by assimilating themselves with these other creators that they'll just have more opportunities to collab, which is a really great idea, but especially now in today's day and age where you can collab on the internet probably a lot faster than you could in person.
Oh
like
yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, the
Unless you're
the
doing, like, an
virus and
in-person
everything excluded. It's just it yeah.
If it's like
No.
anything that doesn't require you to be in the same room,
Mhm.
We are literally thousands of miles away doing this podcast
Right.
where we are.
And it's not taking us 5 minutes to hear what you're saying, like we're the Mars rover.
it's a few seconds
And
or
NASA.
milliseconds at most, honestly.
Yeah, it is just super cool.
Mm-hmm.
So disaster. The one thing I wanted to point out with the whole like, you know, getting all sad or acting bothered about getting older and everything is I just like, in case you guys don't know, I work with kids.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've worked at different schools and all this other stuff, and it's like I'm so aware of the sort of cultural mindset of like, oh, if you're this much older than me, you're probably not as cool. And like, if you don't know about all these different things, then I'm going to immediately devalue you as a person. Like the other day, I was on a Zoom meeting for a kiddo in this one class. And she did fine with everything. Like she did everything on her own. We went to a breakout room where I just helped her like read different text and stuff like that. But she knew how to do like, oh, you go over here and I go over here, and then I'm gonna do screen sharing, and then here's your copy, and then here's my, like she did it all in like a few seconds. And I sat back and was like, gosh dang it, that would take me like 2 hours to figure out. And it's frustrating
it's
to me
just
because I
evolving
used to
so
be
quickly.
so. Sorry, I missed what you were saying, Disaster.
Well, yeah, just technology is just evolving so quickly. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, just the other day, it feels like I was moving from Skype to Discord. Like when I first joined Discord, I had no fucking clue what any of this stuff was.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Right.
now that I've been
Skype
on Discord,
just
I
did
have
3 seconds.
7 different servers
Well,
that
and-
I have
geez,
all
dude,
built
like-
myself. Like,
Yeah.
so.
And then, like, soon as I got into this call, like, you said, "Hey, jump on." How'd you word it? Because it
Oh,
pissed
yeah.
me off. Because I was like, I don't know what to do.
Oh my god. Okay, no.
You said like,
I-
oh yeah, you said.
as soon as I said it,
join
I was
offer
like, he's not
streaming in
gonna know
server.
what the
I'm like,
fuck.
what?
As soon as I said it, I was like, he's not gonna know what the hell I'm talking about. I said I gave you the AS key, hop in. He's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm
That
like,
that counts.
what?
Okay, so basically,
What
if
is
you
that?
if you look in your rules, I have this thing called the AS key, which is basically the author streaming key. I don't think any other streamer does this. I just kind of do this.
Jeez,
But,
you're making your own rules now too. God dang it.
Of course,
Got it.
I've always made my own rules. But if you look in your roles, you have a thing called the AS key, which it just
Mhm.
basically lets you join this
Why
this
do I
channel.
have Captain Multi and Heretic?
Oh, those are the roles for the 24-hour live stream that I gave everyone.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's just so funny because like I used to be so like when I just had a computer and basic internet function, it was so easy to be on top of that, and I felt so proud of myself that I just knew the full extent of technology at that point. But
Oh,
now
yeah.
I'm so far behind. I'm like, no.
God, and then when it comes to figuring out like all of this stuff, like it comes easy to me, and I feel like it's easy for me. But I'm basically A+ certified. I'm computer technician certified, essentially.
Right.
Basically, like none of this shit is
and see,
easy.
that's Yeah. Well, and that's all I was gonna say is like, what you realize when you get older is that, hey, there's some people who, you know, they just don't have a reason to be all tech savvy because maybe it's not their job or it's not what they're interested in.
Yeah, I have
You
a
don't need to be.
professor who barely knows how to use the internet, but he's still my favorite professor, and
Yeah,
I don't need him to. Like he's perfectly fine at his current level of proficiency, either because he gets someone to help him, or because he just does
right.
it in another way, and he doesn't
hmm
need to be tech savvy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Not everyone
actually
needs to
had
be.
a professor in college. He was a history professor, and I'm not the biggest history buff. Like I understand its purpose and I do value it and everything. But this man, it's like it's like he was buffering as well as having like a slow motion filter on what he was saying. I wish I'd saved some of his classes.
God.
If I were to replicate it, and he sounded so bored, but when you get to know him, you knew that he was always passionate. He just never communicated that. So what I literally
God.
did was I would have my computer open and I would record the whole lecture, and I would stay awake and I'd process, everything I could. But then I would go back to it later and play it at double speed and then take notes.
Oh, I was thinking
he'd be like,
1.25 times, not fucking double. Holy shit.
Double.
Yeah, it would sound
Jesus.
like Alvin and the Chipmunks, because he'd go, okay, so today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about ancient China, which is one of my favorite time periods because, there are many, well, anyway, there were inventions and thing and you could tell the man loved what he was talking about, but it never got to his face. His face never got the memo of being excited and
That
a little bit of gusto.
His face never got the
entire
memo.
disconnect.
I was like,
Gosh,
dude.
I guess it also comes with like if you've been doing something the same way for so many years, it's like, yeah, I'm just you're kind of going through the motions at that point.
Yeah, or you don't want to change anything because it works, which that's the one thing I realized I don't want to get stuck in, because I know I could very well just plant my roots and then never do anything different for the rest of my life. But I know that growing up, I hated seeing people that way, so
Oh yeah, I have the same
I'm gonna
problem.
try to be like,
I cannot sit still. I have to be like changing something or like adjusting something at some point.
oh yeah.
I can't just sit
and
there and be happy with where I am.
Well, and that's kind of the thing with my music, like, or actually even more so than my music. I'm glad I never really talked much about my OCs because I have had one of the side effects of ADHD is being impulsive. There have been so many artists that I am fairly convinced I piss off every time I ask them for a commission because I'll have a great idea and then my brain thinks of an even better idea 3 days later. And I'm like, oh, I really think this would be better. And then I have to sit back and go, nope. You already said you're gonna do this one thing. I'm gonna stick with that. And gosh, there's been so many times where I'm like, hey, so I know I already said I wanted this one thing, but let's do this other thing. And there's probably 6 to 7 characters I've dropped over the last couple years because I'll have a really good idea, and then I'll commission someone for something. And then my brain will be like, actually, this character would be a lot better for this story.
That's the thing. Like, I look at your OCs. Who is this? I look at your OCs like, who? Who am I looking at? I have no idea who this is. He has never mentioned anything about this person whatsoever. They're kind of cute, but who is this?
Yeah.
Like, I look at your OC here too, on right? On your Twitter page. What are we going to do to make today?
Yeah, that's Paige.
That's Paige?
She's a personification of my journal, basically. So
Paige. I get it. Haha.
I know. Naming is my strongest point.
Okay, you know what? You have more creativity than me. I have 4 OCs named Kuro, Kino, Kiku, and Kiko. All right.
It's
That's
it's
4 characters.
it's legitimately
There's some
depressing.
bless-
Like sometimes I'll slip up and say the wrong one, and it's very, very sad.
and they're all part of the same campaign except for one.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing, right? And maybe because I don't know if I think I made one video trying to describe some of my music that has like skits and everything, but I don't ever feel like I did it justice, so I might as well just segue to that if you don't mind.
Yeah, go
Like
ahead.
just kind of talk about it because in my head, right, everything makes sense to me. But then I'm never able to communicate it to other people. And then that's one of the worst parts of my ADHD is like I'll go from steps A to Z in a second, but then I never take anyone else along with me. So then they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, oh, I didn't give you any background or context here.
I
But
do the same
so
thing with
when
my
I-
campaigns.
Mhm. So when I started making my own music, I didn't want to just write about my life. I mean, I've done that before. Like, there's an album called Me, which is just literally talking about my anxiety and my depression and ADHD, and all that other stuff. But then because I like, making cool characters and all sorts of different things like that, I wanted to do a bunch of different projects that have skits that tell a bigger story, as well as have music that's just, some of it kind of carries the story along, and then other stuff is just like, while this is an album, I'll just throw some music in there too. So there were 3 albums that I put out that basically focus on a guy who is met with a physical personification of his creative ambition and his drive. And there's a whole like she has a particular name and like a place she lives and all this other stuff. Like that's all uber complicated and stuff. And I did have someone comment the other day. They were like, so I checked out some of your stuff and it was a bit hard for me to understand the story and the characters, and I was like, gosh dang it.
What
'Cause it made
album
sense
is
to
that?
me.
Is that Girl with No Name or Duet Like No Other?
Yeah, that's the first one. And then
Okay.
the next one's a Duet Like No Other, and then the next one's A Broken Mind Avenged. So it basically just tries to delve into the very, like, basically the personification of what goes on in an artist's head. And I wanted to give physical characters the different roles of anxiety, ambition, depression, the main character's ADHD even. And I know it was super complicated because I was the one doing the voice acting for the first couple albums because I honestly didn't know any male voice actors that were willing to do anything at the time. And I also just didn't want to pay another person to do it.
Oh, yeah.
But then by the 3rd album, I was like, well, I didn't intend on this character being me. I kind of want to make some distance. But I feel like that just made it more convoluted. So, I mean, the point of it is like, basically the guy just is realizing that, like any sort of creative thing, it's almost like a relationship. Like the more you give yourself and the more you are open with who you are, the greater the product will be.
Mhm.
But like a normal
Yeah.
relationship, if you have anxiety or if you've been, pressured into being someone you're not, or if you just hate yourself in a sense, you're not going to want to dedicate. And a lot of the struggle that they go through, especially later on, is almost like an actual relationship where they're like, okay, I actually do have feelings for this person, but then I have all this anxiety about giving my all to that person. So I just tried to do that through a very Moe style story. And that's kind of what I'm doing for these next couple projects too, but I'm taking a break from anything about me being the focus, and I'm talking about another character instead who
Yeah.
is like, she's an aspiring guitarist and she has her own person with her to give her motivation and encouragement and all these other things, but then she struggles with like flat out depression and like suicidality and stuff, and they basically have to fight against her actual like suicidal thoughts and stuff.
So
Because
this
I
is the
figured
project
it
you're
would be a
working on
lot
right
more.
now,
Mhm.
right? Okay.
Yeah. That's the one I'm working on now. Um, uh, because on the like, and I'll say this too, like you caught me at a really unique time with my music stuff because um, from the get-go when I started all this music stuff, I wanted big name artists to think that I was good. So at first I started with nerdcore and I reached out to guys like None Like Joshua and Rustage and all these other people. And None Like Joshua was one of the first guys to get back to me, and he basically had nothing but critique for my earlier stuff. And honestly, that was so upsetting to me. I just never had ambition to go back to that. Like no
For
disrespect to
nerdcore?
him. Like I asked him for his thoughts, and he was like, "You need to do this better, and this better, and this better, and this better, and this better." And I was like, "Oh, like am I really that bad? Really?" Um,
Oh yeah.
so then I jumped to the other side of things, and you get people on YouTube like Crypt, Gatsby, Gone, Dwayne,
God.
Dax, all these dudes that are really, really good artists. And Crypt was one of the first guys to react to, I think the song was Shonen Hero, which I basically just did all these.
Let's see.
It was basically, I just basically compared myself to a typical shonen protagonist and gave all these references to different characters.
Wait,
and
so
stuff.
Crip reacted to it?
He actually reacted to it on a app called Cameo.
Okay.
Yeah, I made reference to it in a video where one of the previous OCs, I was trying to give her a name as well as.
You're a bit lagging at the moment.
Oh,
just give it a second to catch up.
Is that better? Oh, okay.
I think it's good now. It's just Discord being wacky.
Okay.
Discord BM.
I figured I was talking too much and it couldn't pick up. So he reacted to it on Cameo, and at that time, like, that was the first person to tell me, like, oh, I actually have something. He's like, yeah, there's these things you got to work on, but not bad at all, keep going. And I was like, sweet, okay, because I had no idea if I knew anything about rap, so really owed him a lot for that. So then just this last week, he reacted to one of my newer songs called Read the Room, which is all about my anxiety and like my ADHD, and giving bigger pictures about how I feel like, regardless of what people tell me, that I really do piss people off with having ADHD. And I'm also on the spectrum. I have high functioning autism as well.
Okay.
And sometimes when I'm stressed, I don't believe anybody when they're like, no, it's fine if you talk a lot. Like we care. And I'm like, I think you're just saying that.
Oh my God. So I know how that feels though. I really do.
Yeah. Where it's like, I honestly don't believe anybody sometimes, which is a horrible place to be, but that's why I wrote a song about it. And
I have the same thing, but it's because I have trust issues. Like, I have really bad trust issues, so I have the exact same thing, yeah.
Well, part of the problem for me, too, is, like, when I was younger, I used to be a lot more carefree and just kind of assume that, oh, things will work out, things will be okay, I can be myself, and it'll all be fine. And then something must have happened to make me think, no, you need to be more aware of the world around you. People aren't going to be there for you. The world's a cold place. And I think that just like shut off part of my like enthusiasm I mean, not to get too dark and personal here, but like that's kind of where I was at. And that has always been like kind of on my back, like just this idea that like, well, even when people say you're okay or trust me, it's da-da-da, I always in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't know. I think you're just saying that because I'm stupid, or I don't know, something like that.
Well, I mean, I get that sometimes when it's like with uh with with how much I work on my VTuber stuff and everything. Like some
Hmm.
people were like, yeah, go take a break. You should probably be taking breaks and you should
Hmm.
be like taking days off. I'm like, I can't. Like you don't
Right.
understand. This is what
Hmm.
I feel like I need to do it.
No matter how many battles
Hmm.
eaten one,
And
no
like
matter-
sometimes you do have to like not trust people for what they're saying, but like you still take it into like account and everything. I don't know.
Right.
It's
So,
a
well, no.
complicated
Like I
balance.
get it. Like, yeah, you understand that the person means well. Like, even if they're not understanding your exact position,
Yeah.
you know, I think that's what you're saying. Because I had something similar happen with music. Like, so with that, with um, with the crypt reaction, he reacted to Read the Room, and maybe I was taking it all out of context. He didn't say the song was bad, but it sounded like he basically said all the same things that he did 3 years ago. Like, apparently, I still have a problem with flow. I still have a problem with like pronunciation, even though some of the song was supposed to be very monotone because I was basically describing how I keep talking and basically burn the house that I'm in and basically kill myself. Like I basically run myself into the ground in my head because sometimes I just can't stop talking and I feel like I ruin my relationships with everyone around me. And it's supposed to be like this very like melancholy type thing. So, and then it was weird too because he also said the mixing wasn't that good, but I had someone like professional mix it. So that
Hmm.
immediately made me think, oh, is my mic terrible? Like,
That's the
what's the deal with
thing
that?
is that it's another thing. I haven't heard the song, so I've only
Hmm.
listened to a few songs on the album, and honestly,
Hmm.
based on what I've listened to, that's my favorite album, by the way. Um,
Oh, cool, cool.
when it comes to mixing, I've found it actually is really hard to get someone else to mix your audio to fit
Hmm.
perfectly. Because,
Hmm.
like, another thing, I've noticed that on my audio, I have to pump my voice with treble, or it sounds really weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huh.
my voice has actually a lot of bass behind it, so
and vibrato.
Oh, I gotcha.
when my voice comes out, it messes up my
Hmm.
audio if I don't like um put treble into it. Cause like what's it called? With the first song that I did I did
Hmm.
official cover for was was what was it called? It was a Hell of a Boss song.
Mm-hmm.
It
Oh, cool.
was You Will Be Okay. And I
Oh,
mixed it with
dude.
bass and it sounds terrible. Like that version of
Oh,
the song
no.
sounds terrible because I didn't know what I was doing with the mixing. But I've learned so much about mixing recently,
Hmm.
and I've just like
Well, and
figured out how to
like,
make the audio sound bigger and stuff.
oh, nice.
And it
Well,
just
and that's the
yeah.
thing too, right? Is like when I'm doing stuff on YouTube, like especially when I was doing, um, I think it was maybe for the first year or two even that I did just rapping about anime and stuff. Um, to which, like, I'll quickly say the only reason why I got into it was because I used to just do dance. Like, I'm a self trained hip hop dancer. Um, and I used to try and like do dance videos pertaining to different songs that were like about certain anime and stuff that I liked. So I could kind of let people know, like, hey, I dance, but then also this is a show I like. And Recreators, if you guys ever watch that show,
No,
Nope.
I've never actually heard
it's
of it.
actually
What
a
is it
really good
about?
show. It came out, no, I guess like 3 years ago, something like that, but or longer than that, 4 or 5 years ago. But um, so this fan Facebook page actually found my video, and they were like, "Dude, we want to have you like be on this team and like put out more like dance videos and stuff. We think you could really like do something cool with that." I was like, "Sweet." And then the show was still airing at the time, so someone was like, "What if you did like a rap recap of each episode?" and then you dance to it. Like that would be really cool. And I was like, that sounds absolutely awesome. So I did that for the longest time until I started doing more personal music. So whenever I did that, like I just mixed it all myself because it's like, it's just for, it's just for fun. Like I don't have to pay $50 every time I want something mixed. Like
Yeah.
I didn't have the budget for that, nor the time. So it just was, so when I do stuff like that for YouTube, like I just do my best to make sure the vocals sound clear and just kind of let it sit. And I feel like, and this might just be the ignorant side of me talking, but I feel like honestly, at least with a lot of stuff on YouTube, unless you're really trying to make it professionally, I don't think anyone really cares if you mix everything perfectly. Like, could I just go out on a limb and say that? I think if people care about the content, it doesn't matter if it's mixed perfectly. I don't know. That makes me sound like I'm bitter, but
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a back and forth because I have a whole like this idea of trying to make things as best they can be in the situation that they are, type of thing. Like like I've commented on one of your songs that I listened to. What's it called? It was the Mori Calliope one, I think. And I think
like the response track I did.
uh
Because I did, I did a few tracks to her, but then I also did one that was immediately in a response to the mountaintop track she did.
I think it might have been that one. I'm not sure. I commented on one of them. I don't remember which one it was, but I did comment on one of them saying like I was talking about like I was talking about it being slightly offbeat, I think.
Oh.
But, I think I mentioned something about that. I'm like,
no, and you could very well be right. I think, and that's the weird part of it too, is like when I listen to stuff back, like I mean, I try to listen to it and like hear if I think it's good. But yeah, there's that whole other side to it too, right? Like someone else can listen to it and hear something totally different. And I think that's always a little disheartening because like even before I put out the albums that you guys would see on like my Spotify and stuff, I actually have an old Bandcamp page. I don't know if you ever saw that, but that has all my old stuff.
I've only seen what you have on YouTube. So yeah.
So I kind of referenced it a little bit on a couple of videos here and there, but like I mean, I tried to put out as much music as I physically could when I first started, because as soon as I felt like I could tell stories or like do neat stuff that didn't just have to be me talking about my life, I didn't want to stop. I was like, I want to keep going. Like I have all these ideas. I want to do it. And I would find all these really cool artists to do different instrumentals. So I had a wide variety of stuff I would rap and sing to, which I still like to do. I really think that's a nice thing about not making your own instrumentals.
Yeah.
Is you don't really force yourself into a box because there's always more variety out there. But then I mixed everything myself. So I know that to the trained ear, you would listen to that and be like, wow, this really doesn't sound good. But to me, I mean, I even listen to some of my old stuff and I still like it because I did the best I could in every context. I mixed it all as best I could. I rapped as best I could. I wrote as well as I could. So in that regard, Disaster, I totally went way off track with what I was meaning to say, but after the reaction that Crypt did, I lost all ambition. Like I was like, after 3 years and he still has the same complaints, like, because then there was the trickle down effect, right? Where I was like, okay, so all my music is shit. He never said that. So to go on record, everything I've made is bad. It's not good enough.
You kind of get in your own head and it it goes off. Yeah.
But then that also translated into YouTube, and I'm like, I can't even do reactions anymore if I suck this bad. Like I'm a fraud. I have nothing to offer. Like what? But as I said on a community post, like you guys actually like enjoying pretty much anything I ever produced, was what kind of got me out of that, because I realized, okay, I'm not good enough for these head honchos, you know, from None Like Joshua to Crypt. Like, I'm not at their level yet. I understand that. Maybe it's not about me trying to get to their level just yet. You know,
it's
because
it's a kind of thing where you have to know what your lane is, and you have to stay in it, and you have to improve. It's like, oh, I don't remember who this said, but like, who said this, but like, stop complaining to people who, oh yeah, it was an NF bar. It was, stop comparing me to people who
really?
are not in my league.
Oh,
wait, no, that's Dax.
Yeah.
That was a Dax bar. That was a Dax bar.
Oh, Dax. Okay.
Stop
That sounded like more
comparing
like
me to
something
people
Dax
who
would
are
say.
not in my league. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was first Joker. Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay,
yeah,
dude.
like-
Dax has been on a different. You talk about a different lane. He's been making some moves lately.
Oh yeah, that dude's been
I've-
going.
Well, and it's so funny too, because I remember when Crypt was coming up, and he had like that huge, very understandable beef with Dax.
Oh yeah.
And to just see Dax transform and become not only a better artist but a better person, it's just like that was really cool to see.
Is that like, it's cool to see that, like, in Screwface John, who was also part of that beef, that Screw's not bitter about it either, and that's really cool to see. Is that he can still like, even though they had this big beef, he can say like, people who are outside of this beef should not be in this beef. This beef is already over. I like his music, stuff like that.
Right?
And
yeah,
it's
because at the end,
cool to see.
and that's that whole thing of like, yeah, you know, you don't have to be a part of it if it doesn't directly involve you. Like, just enjoy the person for who they are. Yeah. Okay, so you watch Screw. I presume you've seen his reactions to Maury's music.
Oh yeah, all of them. Actually,
Okay,
actually, I do want to go off on this. Fun fact, a little bit of a fun fact about me that some people here may not know. I'm the reason for that happening. Because Screw, one day at the beginning of this year, was like, I'm gonna do a reaction to the one comment that had like nothing else to it, no, like, barely any likes, no one was talking about it. That Disaster 115 was my old name a few months ago, before I rebranded. React to Maury Calliope, that's what he said. I think I said that in Demon Dice.
Oh, dude, I was taking a drink right when you said that.
Jeez. Calliope.
Oh god, he did not say that. That is too funny.
Everyone says Calliope, but it's Calliope. Yeah. But
well, dude, when I first reacted, I said cantaloupe, so I get it.
She hates cantaloupes.
But I read that too.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was actually the person to get him to start reacting to Maury Calliope. And
that's so cool. So,
God, it's crazy.
Awesome.
The fact that all this happened. It's all that.
So someone was telling me, because I still get comments where people apparently think that my style of reaction is just so much more in depth than, quote, what anyone else does, which is weird because like I've seen my fair share of people that like.
You and Screw are my favorite reactors. Because you just go.
Some people were
really
telling me that. Okay, does Screw jump ahead a lot though?
No.
Because someone was telling me apparently Screw just like you hardly see much of the song because he's like either jumping ahead or. I mean, I personally haven't watched him much because honestly, I kind of forgot about him after the whole.
Do you watch people to watch the song? Like, I think the point of reacting is to see their opinion, right?
Well, yeah, but like. A thing about it is that a lot of reactors do that. I don't know what they're talking about since I watch a lot of Screw. I've never seen him do that except for like a while back reacting to NF stuff, and that's because he copyright claims his stuff. So.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, it just was one random comment. The person didn't really give me much context. They just said, "Yeah, well, Screw just keeps jumping ahead in his music." I was like, "Oh,
yeah." No.
So I mean. like you're aware of the beef he had with Ryan Upchurch, right?
I did not. What happened?
Well, Ryan
Also,
Upchurch is
one
a
sec before that.
sorry?
We do have to start wrapping up soon because it is 7 o'clock. I will say that. But
Oh,
go,
gotcha.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, I mean, I could kind of leave that for another time, but just I actually hadn't. Oh, whoa, hold up, sorry. I had a tab open and someone's video was going into the preview music. I thought you were. I thought you were doing the outro music or something.
Oh,
No,
no,
we're
no.
leaving now.
Okay.
We're done. It's all over. No, you don't get to say anything else. We're done.
Hey, you turn the mic off? Is this thing on?
Nope.
Okay.
It's all wrapped
Yeah,
up.
I mean, so basically, long story short, I guess it's just a surprise to me that, like, you know, my style of really trying to talk about stuff and, like, you know, analyze stuff was getting the type of reception that it was, because that's just how I am, like, with music. I just have to process it and listen to it and really catch what's going on. It's not interesting to me. And I've seen plenty of reactors do this, and it doesn't make any sense to me, is they'll listen to the song the whole way through,
Oh my
maybe pause
God.
every so often, and then they'll talk about it for like 15 seconds at the end, but the only thing they recall is like the last 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
the point of it is to
why
like,
don't you stop when something's fresh instead of after another 3 minutes where something, you know, plenty of other things could happen. So I was
I'd
kind of
rather
worried
just
that
like being like annoying stops all the time, but with like actual commentary and opinions and
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
If I wanted to
instead
listen to
of
the
That's
song,
right.
I'd just listen to the song.
Exactly. Yeah, I have gotten a couple comments where people are like, and maybe
Stop
they were just
pausing.
being facetious, but it did kind of annoy me because they were like, "Oh, I always come to your music or your reaction videos so I can listen to the song," or like something to that effect.
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Really? You can't just..."
A lot of people say that on reactions. I'm like, why? Why would you? Why would
Yeah,
you
I'm
do
like,
that?
Did you know
you could
that
just
there
listen
is
to...
something called the search bar in
There's the
YouTube?
song. You could just
Mhm.
listen to the song.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just weird.
I actually found your channel through a Mori Calliope reaction. I think it was Cursed Night. Actually, I think it was the
Mhm.
first one you did.
Yeah, most people did. And it's kind of funny because, like, well, I'll tell you this much, like, to kind of summarize, like, where I'm at, like, you know, with YouTube and everything. Like, I you know, what has really been cool to me is, like, I've gotten a few comments from people reacting to, like, my old stuff, like back when I was writing about Girls Last Tour and um, Land of the Lustrious or Ancient Magus Bride or different stuff like that. And they're like,
What?
"Dude, I had no idea you wrote this," or like, "You were making content about this. This is really cool." Or when people would hop onto one of my albums or something and be like, "Dude, I didn't even know you wrote music. This is really good." Like, so in case some of you guys didn't know, because I'm very slowly trying to come back to doing YouTube. The reaction that I just posted, I actually had recorded like a week ago. I just didn't have the heart to the CD exclusive track.
Yeah,
on
Empress, yeah.
Maury's EP. Yeah, I'd recorded that earlier, but in light of the reaction and me just being depressed about the response, I just didn't have the heart to even edit it. I was like, well, what's
Damn.
even the point if I apparently suck? But I made a coffee account. I don't know if you saw that. And I just said, like, I actually made it before the whole reaction went down and everything. And then I just said, like, "Hey guys, so being generous with the estimation, if you guys did want to see another EP, it's not gonna focus on me or anything. It's gonna focus on this other character, and it's gonna focus on some very dark subjects. I think it would really be cool if you guys wanted to contribute to that." Someone busted out like half, if not 3/4 of the amount that I had listed in like a day.
What?
So I just sat back. I'm like, what in the hell? Like, what is this? And
Someone
that,
really wants
like,
to
that
see
kind
it.
of... Yeah, well, and that kind of made me realize, like, I don't think I have to, like, you know, like I can't think of any words anymore. But like I just realized that that's something I want to hold on to, like that type of response from people. If you guys want to see more content, then I'm gonna do it. Like I don't have to get all caught up in my head with like, oh, am I good enough for all these pros, and am I good enough to do this or that? Like, you know,
Yeah.
and completely excluding all of that, there's always some part of me that is just always excited to make more content, regardless. Like, because I'm at a point where I like what I make.
Yeah.
And like there's a song I plan on doing a music video for, and I kind of plan on it being like my return, quote unquote, because then after that I'm going to go back to reactions. Like there's plenty of stuff that I've been waiting to react to. I just want to come back right. But it's like my favorite song I've ever made, and the person who mixed it makes it sound so good, and it's just I'm so excited to share it. I think it's the one, if you follow me on Twitter, I was saying it's the one that I can't stop listening to. Like I literally can't stop listening to it over and over and over and over.
Yeah, I haven't seen that tweet just because like I don't actually look at my timeline as much as I'll have everyone believe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Let me find. Oh, but anyway, so yeah. Let me see. Somewhere around here. Oh yeah, I found the coffee. There we go. But go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, just I'm kind of waiting for like actually what I want to do. If you saw my song Turtle, the guy who did the artwork for that is going to do the artwork for this next single that I have coming out. And what I want to do is get some merch made for like the art once it drops, and then have some, because I've been able to pay my bills and get groceries and everything, but not even buy my own merch, which makes me so sad. So I plan on having some on, and then do the music video for the single, and then I would drop it, and that would, with all the streaming stuff and all that. So
yeah,
that's kind of how I want to come back. I want to keep doing music because I love doing it, even if I'm not a pro yet. And yeah, that's kind of all I was going to say about that.
All right. Well, we have to start getting it wrapped up because we're 8 minutes over. But I do have a few things to say before we wrap this up. First off, as it, I don't think it needs to be said, but I don't watch all videos. Like I just pick the ones that like, oh, I wanted to see this one reacted to. Yeah, like. Yeah, enough said about that. But I did watch the Unaware by Posey and Dempsey Rollboy. She Was My Universe. I love those. And on that topic, who was your biggest inspirations when you first started rapping? Like, why'd you get into rap? And if someone inspired you?
It actually was Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park. I'm gonna pull up the lyrics here, but there is there's a song called Forgotten, and now mind you, the only music that I was aware of before I heard Linkin Park was like sing-songy stuff. You don't have much time to really get an idea out. So in Forgotten, he's saying, this just hit me, and it made me realize, like, oh my gosh, he's painting all these cool pictures, and it's so descriptive, like I could see it in my head. He was saying, then with the eyes shut, looking through the rust and rot and dust, a small spot of light floods the floor and pours over the rusted world of pretend, and the eyes ease open and it's dark again. Like, that hit me like a ton of bricks when I first heard that. I was like, oh my gosh, I can see it. That's so cool. And from then on, I always liked metaphors and descriptions of different things, which just made it all the more cool when you learn about anime and different ways that concepts can be personified. Anxiety doesn't just have to be a concept; it can be a living entity that's
Oh yeah.
there physically, like that type of
Bro,
thing.
death has
Um,
been an entity for hundreds, thousands of years. People have
That is
personified
true. That
Yeah.
is true.
Yeah.
Very true.
I mean, a lot of different cultures have their own like personifications of different things. Like life has
Mhm.
personifications.
Literally
death.
every culture's personifies something immaculate. Like
Right.
every culture, without a doubt.
Like Hindu.
Well, I think Japan has a mascot
Hindi.
for every district.
Hindi
Which I
has
think
like
they
a
made-
god for everything.
And I think China actually created a I don't know the extent of it, but they basically made a personification of COVID.
No.
And it's this
Are you talking about COVID anime girl?
No, it's a
Oh.
guy, and it was fully made by the government, I believe. And it basically has this whole like smug like characteristic to it. I gotta look for it. It was just as wonderful as when One Punch Man got everyone to exercise, which was why the viewership tanked because everyone was running around outside.
What?
Oh, did you not hear about that?
No, it was okay. I think it actually
Guys,
was
we literally do
Taiwan
have to
who
wrap
did
up.
this. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, dude, I
Taiwan
gotta
CDC.
talk to you about that after,
But yeah,
though. If you have
anyway,
time. But
yeah. So we'll wrap up this. Of course I have time.
okay,
But like,
all right.
anyway, so this has been the Degeneration Podcast, episode 18, the podcast for the Degenerate Generation. And we'll see all you Degens Monday, where I'll be streaming. Who fucking knows at this point? Honestly, I might stream near.
I might be
Just
there.
depending
I
on
might not.
what I'm
Depends
doing.
on whether or not I just really feel like killing him.
Yeah, I might do Darkwood this week, honestly, because we
Bro,
might get back
I
into it.
haven't started Darkwood either. God, I really
Darkwood's
want
so
to
good.
start it, but like,
Anyway, so we'll be wrapping this up. I'll see you guys. Everyone say bye. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, guys.